All right, so here we're going to start looking at the United States position on this. This is President. This picture here is of President Truman. President Truman. If you notice when I talk about the United States, I'm not going to necessarily always say President Truman, just because obviously in a free and country like ours, the president's changing either every 4 years or 8 years, which is unlike the Soviet Union, where Joseph Stalin basically ran the country for some time. But President Truman was the president at the end of the end of World War II. He was the one that authorized the dropping of the atomic bombs in Japan. And he is the one at the forefront when it comes to the Cold War, kind of getting this started. And obviously, since we cover 50 years of the Cold War, there's going to be a lot of presidents that are going to deal with this situation. One thing that President Truman realizes is that he knows at this point in time that he cannot stop communism. This is a beast that's too big and it's too powerful, and the United States doesn't have the resources and doesn't want to get into another full scale military war over communism versus capitalism. So instead, his plan going forward, which is probably the best plan at the time, was to contain it right here. Anytime you want to contain something, you want to confine it to a small area. And that's kind of what President Truman's goal here was. We can do, and he believed that through money and democracy that we could do this. If we can show these countries the advantages of aligning with the United States and providing them the needed money and resources that they need, that these countries would continue to follow the United States and enjoy the freedom of democracy and whatnot. So we're going to help these countries fight poverty, hunger, depression, things of that nature, a lot of the problems that are going on in Europe, by providing them with the needed resources that they need. And hopefully, by doing that, the goal is they can contain communism not to spread any further. That iron curtain is in place. They do not. The United States, President Truman, and other allied countries, Great Britain and whatnot, do not want that iron curtain to expand westward at all. Europe is an important trading point for us. And if we lose that economically, the United States could start to have some problems. So his plan was twofold. He implemented the Truman Doctrine, and then later on went with the Marshall Plan. I'll get into more details on what these are in the next couple of slides because they're much more detailed than what are on here.